My name is Mrs. Macbeth. Welcome to our second episode of the Clarion Limestone Lion Legacy podcast, a brand new series dedicated to celebrating the remarkable individuals who have helped shape our school and strengthen our community. Each episode will explore the stories, achievements, and lasting impact of those who have helped make Clarion Limestone what it is today. With us today, we have someone who has bled blue and gold for many years. Mr. John J.J. Johnson is the second inductee into the Lion Legacy series, recognized for his lasting impact, leadership, and deep commitment to the Clarion Limestone community. A proud CL graduate from Corsica, Pennsylvania, J.J. devoted his career to the district that shaped him, serving as a substitute teacher, school board member, elementary principal, and ultimately superintendent. Throughout his tenure, he championed student center innovations, helped lead CL to become the top scoring rural school district in Western Pennsylvania. Rooted in family, his 3 daughters and wife, Deborah, all deeply connected to CL. JJ credits the district's success to its dedicated staff, supportive community, and exceptional students. He is celebrated not only for his accomplishments, but for leading with heart, vision, and unwavering belief of every student's potential. As we launch this podcast, we honor his legacy, his impact, and lasting warmth he brought to Clarion Limestone. Welcome, JJ.
Thank you.
JJ, it's so good to have you here today. What's it like returning to Clarion Limestone and being recognized through the Lion Legacy program?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being so kind. Brian, I appreciate you taking me around, and it's good to see individuals that I haven't seen for a long time. What's it like to... It's incredible. I'm really taken back. I'm very humble that individuals, everybody has been so kind. I mean, it's really difficult for me to even sit here because so much of my life, I spent a lot of hours here. Mm-hmm. Right. And I call everyone that's here my friends. Mm-hmm. And it's just an incredible honor to come back into this district and see the wonderful things that have been taking place, and I'm just really honored.
JJ and I took a walk just for about 10 minutes, I would say, before we came in here and sat down, and we saw probably 10 people that smiled and waved and wanted to stop and see him, and so it was very nice. I showed JJ some of the shops we're using for the student-run manufacturing and some of our new equipment, and he was asking questions like Abby said here about how it affects the students. How are we doing this? Have we thought about doing that? So for me, it was nice to see JJ has been retired for a few years. And he still is thinking like an administrator, so that was very nice to see. So
I will say, when you came this morning, you didn't recognize me, but I recognized you. This was your last, when I was hired in the spring of 2015, that was your last spring here. And then upon returning a few times after that, but you were responsible for hiring many teachers and faculty who still serve our students today. What qualities were most important for you when building your team?
Well, first of all, I always looked for an individual that was student-centered. Without the students, none of us would be here. And I think it's extremely important whenever you're looking at an individual, whether or not they would fit into your team. And I always took a team approach to in the hiring process. You had to have a specific personality, and I often would tell people, you can be good, but you have to be the best to be at CL. You can't be number 2. You have to be number 1. And so I looked at that aspect of it. Another thing that I looked at is respect. It's extremely important to respect the individuals that you're going to be working with every day. You have to put confidence in what they're doing, allow them to, I'll say the word bloom. everybody has their own type of ideas and things. But, I often encourage communication, which was a real key. I wanted people to talk to me. I always used the approach that two heads were better than one. I always looked for ways to give back to my staff. Teachers and administrators and everyone that works at the district, they need to understand that they are a part of us. And I didn't care whether you were dealing with maintenance or janitors or cafeteria or whatever. They were still part of the team. And I even took it down to the students. You have to respect students.
Yeah.
They come from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different type of families, different environments, and so.
Yeah, I was 22 when you interviewed me. And so the one lasting memory I have with you was you walked me out that day and you asked me and you looked at me in the eyes and you said, "How do you think it went?" And I said, "I think it went well." And he was like, and you said, and patted me on the back and you said, "I think it went really well." And that memory has stayed with me in my 11 years here for sure.
So one of the things that I know about you, and I know that was important to you, was the greenhouse and the amphibian and reptile center that you created. Can you tell us what inspired you to put that in place here at Clarion Limestone?
I was always big on hands-on education, and I still believe in hands-on education. I'm also was very high on being a visual learner. I mean, like 90% of us are visual learners, only 10% are really audible. But when you put the vision and the hands-on part together, kids just seem to really, excel. I'll use that word. I was approached by a professor at Clarion University, and he had an idea, and he was looking for a school district to come up with an idea of building an ark, an amphibian reptile ark. And I really wasn't big on it at first, but he invited me to a meeting over at the university. So I went, and, I was listening to what he was saying, and in my mind was all these different things that we could do here. And at the end of the meeting, I just walked up to him and said, "We'll do it." And from that, we started working together, the university and CL. And an awful lot of work went into that, building that area over there in the old garage and in the greenhouse and such like that. But once it was completed, that information went across the state, and we actually had, the governor actually came, and it was really amazing how that took place. And then kind of from there, we went on the nature trail and developed the pond area back there, and it became a project with the Boy Scouts. So it just spun every which way, and it was actually a K through 12 endeavor, and we had a good time doing it.
Yeah. Well, so after your time, the greenhouse, when I got here, was pretty well run down and kind of abandoned. And then whenever Brian came, we brought it back. And we actually replaced the glass with plastic, and we're reshaping that entire area. Did you see the apple orchard over there?
I did see it, yeah.
And we had a pumpkin patch behind it between the ball fields and the greenhouse. And so we're looking at a lot of different ways that we can expand that space and utilize that space. Brian, you want to talk about some of the ideas we have there?
Yeah. I share JJ's idea of student-centered, and JJ was saying to us before we started that he actually interviewed all three of us for the for the jobs we have here, which is funny. And I thought I'd share a story that you might laugh at. I was superintendent job is very stressful, and we were talking about that. It's actually very nice when you get the chance to talk to somebody who's done a similar job for years. I've been here 4 years now, and so we were just chit-chatting, and it made me think. A couple of weeks ago, I interacted with a community member, and they did not like the interaction that we had. It wasn't negative. It wasn't like we were fighting, but they didn't agree with what I was saying. And I just told them the truth about something. And they looked at me and said, "I wish J.J. Johnson was still the superintendent." Which I had to tell you at some point. I was like, and I literally said, "Well, be nice. I mean, I really like JJ, but I mean, very humbling to have somebody say to you, I wish JJ was the superintendent still." So, and I listened to what they said, and, I reflected upon that. But, JJ and I were talking about leaving an impact and what you can do to be student-centered and, those types of things. And I think that this school community really does well with that. We have over 100 acres. There's things that we can do to impact our students in a positive way when we tap into that. And so the greenhouse, with the students going through the curriculum in 7th grade and, that exposure, the pumpkin patch, we really would like to get into pumpkin chunking. Where they throw it with a trebuchet or so we're talking about things like that we could do with other schools, the apple orchard, how we can work that into all of the curriculum from elementary school up. I mean, those are the things we're excited about. And without, you bringing us all here, that stuff wouldn't be continuing, or at least, it'd be continuing possibly in a different way. But
and I'll just make a comment about that. All three of you, that probably was in the back of my mind. Now, I can guarantee you it was in the back of my mind. When I first came back to CL, after being at Brookville, I was a principal over there, and that's when the availability of all that property came forward. And I pushed and begged and pleaded, and finally the board saw fit to go with it. And from that, once we got that established, you guys are still benefiting from it. And so ultimately the students are benefiting. It really, I haven't seen the greenhouse, but the apple orchard and the different things like that, when I was driving past, it warms my heart to be able to see things that were developed be expanded upon.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about.
We would like to see a Frisbee golf course up through there too, like a legitimate Frisbee golf course that goes up through there.
Believe it or not, I did start. I had a Frisbee. We had 4x4s placed in the ground. We had big panels about the size of this table where you can throw it and hit that.
The ball.
Yeah, and we had 9 different.
Awesome,
Yeah, but it didn't go like what I thought it would go. We did it for a couple of years, and then after that, nobody really got the interest in it. But now, as society changes, there's that interest coming back again, and then once that happens, it's easy to implement a program.
Yeah, we can see it working into the curriculum with PE and stuff like that. So, as I said, being a superintendent is a challenging job, but your career was much more than being a superintendent. So, could you reflect upon what is the most rewarding thing you've done as an educator? Was it a classroom teacher? Was it a assistant principal? Was it superintendent? Like, what was the most rewarding?
Being able to raise 3 girls by myself. That's a really tough question. There were so many different things. I guess the most rewarding would be the fact that the school district did so well academically when we were again working as that team. And, I pushed that heavily. And if somebody saw something where we could improve, then I wanted to go with that. And I listened to my teachers. They're the ones that are in the trenches. They're the ones that are dealing with the students constantly. And so
Well, that legacy continues. We continue to have the highest test scores, or 1, 2, 3, whatever, in the entire IU out of 17 districts. Clarion Limestone continues to be at the top year after year. And I would guess that's probably, harkens back to the team and the teachers you brought in, and the fact that we have tenured teachers that are, excellent what they do. I also think we probably, great families that are, living in a conservative area, that family values really matter, and you can see the result of that.
The community, CL community is awesome. They were always there for me when I needed help. They went through an awful lot with different changes that took place prior to me coming back, but they stayed together and kept the school together, and it is what it is today because of that.
Anything else you'd like us to touch on, or anything you would like to talk about or have us think about?
Actually, again, this is so overwhelming for me. I haven't actually had time to even think or reflect on it. But I will say this: if I think of something on the way home, I'll give you a call.
When this is over, JJ and I are going to walk over to the greenhouse and take a look, if you don't mind. We'll take a look there. We'll walk through the elementary school as well to see, the changes and upgrades there too. But I can tell you, the first school board meeting I ever sat at as a superintendent, JJ sat beside me, showed me how to sit, told me how to pay attention, so it was very, and I think about it almost every time I sit in a meeting, so I appreciate that very much.
What words of encouragement would you have for current students at Clarion Limestone as they make their way through kindergarten through 12th grade here? And given the community that we have, given the setting that we have, what would you tell a young person today if you ran into somebody in the hall?
I would encourage them to be, number one, the very best that they could be, whatever that best is. I would look for ways to give back to those students, that need help. I would encourage those students to talk to the teachers, the administrators. I would encourage them to get involved in extracurricular activities. That's extremely important. I would encourage, just from what I saw in the welding and different things like that, learn as much as you possibly can in those areas, because it'll all pay off for you in the future, literally, monetarily. Again, not everybody is college, but whether it's a vocational type of education, or just get as much as you possibly can educationally, and then it will be very beneficial for you.
All right.
Well, we want to thank you for coming in.
Hey, I really appreciate it, and I'm very honored to be able to be around 3 awesome individuals, and you have to be awesome because I hired you.
Thank you.